There are moments in all of our lives when it feels like life isn't playing by our rules. When you're doing everything you can, and it's still not enough. When you weren't born into the right family, in the right place, with the right opportunities. When it feels like everyone else started laps ahead, and you're just trying not to fall behind. Have you ever felt like your circumstances are stronger than you? Have you ever looked at successful people and thought, they just got lucky? Have you ever caught yourself thinking that your story is already written and not by you? Now, imagine this. You're born into poverty, into a world where you have no money, no connections, not even a basic sense of safety. Your childhood isn't about toys or carefree days. It's about survival. And yet you become one of the most influential women in the world. This is not fiction. This is the story of Oprah Winfrey. Oprah was born in 1954 in a small town in Mississippi. Her mother was an 18-year-old unmarried girl, and her father was a young soldier who was almost never around. From the very beginning, her life was filled with hardship. She grew up in poverty, often without even the most basic necessities. Oprah spent the first 6 years of her life on her grandmother's farm. They didn't even have money for normal clothes. Oprah wore dresses made from potato sacks. Her grandmother, who raised her in her early years, taught her to read before she even started school. And then everything changed. At the age of 6, she was sent to her mother in Milwaukee. It was even worse there: extreme poverty, overcrowded apartments, constant lack of food. And the worst thing, bullying. From the age of 9, Oprah experienced sexual abuse from relatives and acquaintances whom her mother trusted. She remained silent. She endured. At 13, she ran away from home. At 14, she gave birth to a child who lived only a few hours. It seemed that life had already decided everything for her. And many people in her place would have stayed there, trapped in pain, in injustice, in a sense of hopelessness. But this is where the difference begins, between those who give up and those who change their destiny. Oprah made a choice. She decided that her past would not define her future. Her path to success began with education and public speaking. She won speech competitions, earned a college scholarship, and started working in radio while still in school. Her voice was heard, but not everyone believed in her. When she first started working in television, she was told she was not fit for TV. She was even fired from a news job because she was too emotional. Sound familiar? How many times in your life has someone told you that you're not enough? That you don't fit? That you're too much? Oprah heard it too. But instead of changing herself to fit someone else's standards, she found a place where her authenticity became her strength. In Chicago, she was given the opportunity to host a small, struggling morning talk show. It wasn't big. It wasn't important yet. But that's where everything changed. She started talking to people for real. No masks. No distance. No pretending. And the audience felt it. Her show quickly became the highest rated in its time slot. And eventually, it turned into the legendary The Oprah Winfrey Show, which ran for 25 years and became one of the most influential television programs in history. Oprah didn't just interview people. She created a space where people could be honest, where they could talk about pain, fear, trauma, and also about strength, hope, and healing. She showed the world that vulnerability is not weakness. It's power. One of her most famous quotes is, "Turn your wounds into wisdom." That's not just a quote. That's her life. Every pain, every trauma, every no became material for her growth. And another powerful idea she shared: you become what you believe. That's the key. Not what others think about you, not where you started, but what you believe about yourself. Over time, Oprah became more than just a TV host. She became a media mogul. She launched her own production company, a magazine, and a television network. She became the first Black woman billionaire. But more importantly, she never forgot where she came from. She invests in education, supports charities, and has built schools for girls in underprivileged communities. She uses her success not just for herself, but for others. There is one more important part of her story. Oprah has often said that her greatest strength is authenticity. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. How much energy do we waste trying to fit into someone else's expectations? How many times do we stay silent when we want to speak? How often do we play a role instead of being who we truly are? What if your difference is your greatest strength? Oprah's story is not about television, not about money, not even about fame. It's a story about choice. The choice not to break. The choice not to quit. The choice to believe in yourself, even when no one else does. Now, let's be honest. Your life might not be perfect. You may have your own struggles. You may have faced injustice. But here's the question. Will you let it define your future? Or will you use it as fuel? Oprah started with nothing, less than nothing, and still, she built a life that impacted millions. Not because she was lucky, but because she refused to let her past stop her, accepted her story, turned her weaknesses into strength, and stayed true to herself. The message of this story is simple, but powerful. You don't choose where you're born, but you choose who you become. You don't control everything that happens to you, but you control how you respond. Your wounds are not the end. They are the beginning. Your story is still being written. And maybe this very moment is where you decide what to believe, in your limits or in your possibilities. So if today feels hard, remember this. One person, one belief, one decision can change everything, just like it did for Oprah, and just like it can for you.